Okay, so we are back for round two. It is the next morning, and I took a little time to get the dishwasher going and wash all the big pots and pans, which are drying behind me, and just set out some stuff that we're going to need today. So the canning is done, and this is the jar of bruschetta, and then we have the 5 jars of the carrot tomato bisque. So those are all cooled off and ready to go. I'm just going to set them to the side until I have time to clean them and write on them. Because for right now, I want to get the garlic cheese grit casserole going. That is the breakfast item that I am taking to my friend today for her surgery. And this is a Paula Deen recipe, so I will link the recipe. It's not my own. I do make a little bit of change to it, and I will show you that. But the recipe is amazing as it is, so I will just link her recipe. And I think I've linked it before. I think I made the cheese grit casserole back during the January, February pantry challenge when I first started the channel. So I'm pretty sure I've linked it before, but I will relink it here. So let's get started for the day. Alright, so first we are going to add our garlic powder, salt, and pepper. And so we need a 1/4 teaspoon garlic powder, which I like a lot of garlic, so a 1/4 teaspoon pepper, and 1 teaspoon salt. And then we need chicken stock. So we need 6 cups of chicken broth. So I have turkey broth or turkey stock, and I'm actually getting low on this. I need to make some more. But in 1 quart is 4 cups, so we need 1.5 quarts for this. And I'm just going to put the lid back on it, put a ring on it, and put it in the fridge, and I'll use it for some rice or something this weekend. Okay. Now we are going to set this on the stove and bring it to a boil before adding our grits. And while that is going, I'm going to get our pans ready and preheat our oven to 350. And I am using these aluminum saucepans, and that way I can take it to her and she doesn't have to bring it back to me. So this will be a nice size, and I'll be able to keep one and take one because it makes a lot. So we're just going to grease these pans. and set those to the side for a minute, and we'll start on the cheese. So this is the deviation that I make. It calls for 16 ounces of cubed cheddar. Well, each of these blocks is 8 ounces. And so instead of doing 2 blocks, I actually like to add some of the Velveeta, which this is probably, this and macaroni and cheese are the only recipes that I use this for, because personally I think it's kind of gross. However, in those 2 items, it just adds a layer of creaminess that is, you know, I can't really achieve. So we're going to do, let's see, I need half that. 8 ounces of Velveeta cheese. And that is the change that I make. So now I have all this. I need to see if I can freeze this. That would be great. Otherwise, I'm going to have to make some mac and cheese soon, which is fine. All right. So we'll get our cubes ready. Whoops. Alright, so that's ready. And then you want some white cheddar for the top, and I'm going to use Monterey Jack. This is our favorite, so this is what we use on top. But I need to shred that, so I'm going to do that here in a second. What I want to do, let me go ahead and do that. Well, I guess we are not going to shred that. I will have to look for that. Everything was together except the handle. I'm usually really good at keeping that together. So what we'll do is I'll just slice this really thin, and we'll just layer it on top. I have a hand grater somewhere, but I'm not going to go hunting for that either. It will be in the oven long enough that these will melt nicely. Except maybe that one. Alright, so the last thing I need to chop up, oh, I'm boiling over here. So now we're going to add 2 cups of grits to our broth and whisk. So I've got the grits whisked in, and I have turned it down to low, and we're going to let them simmer. And while that is working, I'm going to get my butter chopped up. So it calls for a whole stick of butter, which, you know, is classic Paula Deen. I know she's changed her tune recently, and that's amazing. She looks fantastic, but this is one of the old recipes, and it is yummy just as it is. And I do find chopping it when it's cold is easier and less messy. Alright, so there's our butter, and now we need 4 beaten eggs. And I am definitely going to put these separately because these have been in my fridge for a while, so they may have some bad ones. They kind of got pushed to the back. Nope. Ooh, that was a thin shell. Oh good, those were all still perfectly good. Alright, so there's that, and then we need a 1/2 cup milk. And that's it. So we have all of our components ready. And that's one of the things I love about this recipe is it really takes maybe 10 to 15 minutes max to prepare it. And all it is prepping things while you're waiting for like the base to come to a boil and cook. So that's about 8 minutes once it starts, your grits are in there. And you know, 3 or 4 minutes before that, and then it's just dumping everything together and letting the oven do the work. So this is one of our go-to recipes for the holidays. I usually make a garlic cheese grit casserole for breakfast on Thanksgiving, and then sometimes I'll make it for dinner on Christmas to add to the family dinners if we don't want to do mac and cheese. Just, you know, it is a lovely recipe, but it does make a lot. And so I do recommend halving it into 2 pans, and you can even freeze it, but you don't need to because it will be gone. Okay, so you will notice that mine is, I mean honestly, it's kind of an unappetizing gray ish color, and that's because of that dark turkey broth. But it is cooked up, and so now we are going to add in the cubed cheddar and the Velveeta, and that's going to change that color a lot. And I'm actually going to put the lid on it and let it sit for a second. Just to get that heat concentrated in that cheese and get that melting process going. Yeah, see, now that cheese is getting gooey. So then we're going to add the butter. And the milk. And now it's starting to loosen up. Butter's all melted. Some of that cheese is melted. It's starting to bring in more of a yellow tone to it. Look how beautiful that is now. And so now we're going to temper some of these eggs. Make sure they don't scramble up on us. And what tempering is adding some of this hot to these cold eggs so that when you dump them right on this hot, they don't start to scramble. It just slowly warms it up by adding a little at a time. And then when you dump them in, they're a little more adjusted. And I'm just kind of folding this over to incorporate it. So now we're going to add it to our pans. Okay, in the oven they go for 35 to 40 minutes. Because it's in two pans, it's probably going to take more like 30, but typically it would be 35 to 40. Alright, I'm going to get this cleaned up and be back to get our biscuits ready in just a little bit. Okay, so I have just a few minutes until the cheese grit casseroles are done, so I'm going to mix up some biscuits really quick and get those in the oven for the beef stew. And my big glass bowl that I like to use is in the dishwasher, so I'm going to use a pot. I need some more of those like stainless steel bowls. I have one, and it's actually out in the car because I just bought it, but I need some more of those because I have like one big glass bowl and it's not really big enough. But anyway, so I'm just using the Southern Biscuit Complete Biscuit Mix. Makes my life easy. I like the Pioneer Woman biscuit recipe, and I will try to remember to link that. But for simplicity and because I knew I had a lot to do, I grabbed the Complete Biscuit Mix. It's a little more expensive, but it is a complete time saver because it has everything in it. So I just have to add buttermilk. So we're going to do 3 1/4 cups biscuit mix. And actually, I think I'm going to go ahead and double this batch. So I can give them quite a few biscuits, which they can use for breakfast sandwiches. Oh, and I can take them a thing of jelly too for breakfast. And then we're going to do 1 1/4 cups buttermilk, but since we're doubling it, we're going to do 2 1/2. And I usually do have to adjust it. Now I have powdered buttermilk from Azure Standard. So when I really want to like have the time and make the homemade biscuits, I can mix up my own buttermilk, add my own Crisco, add my own butter, chop it up with a pastry cutter and all that good stuff. But this is the way to go when it's in a hurry. Now, I don't roll out my biscuits and cut them. We just pat them and place them. And that's it. And the dough, for me, is by feel. Like I can tell if it's too dry or too wet, because I'm so used to doing it this way. So I have some in here that's a little wet. And what I'll do is I'll just move it around into the dried flour I have in the bottom. And then sometimes I'll get to an area where I really have too much flour and I'll have to add some buttermilk. That one has a little too much flour in it. On one side it's not wanting to hold together, and on the other side it's sticking. So just kind of roll it together until we get what we want. And then try to piece all these little pieces together. There we go. Alright, so these are going to go in the oven for about 10 minutes or until done. Okay, so the last thing I want to make, and I'm probably getting close to running out of time here, is I want to make some hand pies. I have not done this before, but I canned up some of my grandmother's apple pie filling in 2020, and I do need to use it. So I found these adorable little hand pie, apple pie, and there's actually like an acorn and a pumpkin, and they were just so adorable, and I thought, you know, that would be really cute to make some individual little hand pies or like toaster strudel type things, Pop-Tart type things for the kids. And then so I decided to go ahead and do it today so I can give treats to my friend. So we're going to use the apple one, and I cheated. I have some pie crusts that are homemade in the freezer, but when I was at the store, I just grabbed some pre-made ones. So I'm going to get started by creating an egg wash and also putting my pie filling to heat up in a pan to kind of get it mixed because it's kind of come apart. So we're going to start by getting my pie filling going. And this was my grandma's caramel apple pie filling. And that would be biscuits. Look how beautiful. All right. Oh, I'm going through my forks. Now I'm going to get out a pie filling, a pie crust. So I got the Pillsbury pie crust. We're going to get a pan ready. Paper to lay flat. There we go. All right. Well, isn't that cute? It already takes the little vent holes out for you. what I'm going to do is reuse some of this. It smells great. And I think what I'm going to do is on this first one, I'm going to put these holes back in here. Because otherwise this is going to leak out. Okay. So we're going to put, what did I do with the spoon I just took out? I'd say maybe that much. I don't want to overfill it. And then we're going to brush some egg wash onto the sides. And squeeze shut. Now how do I get it out? Alright, it is coming through, which is not good. Oh. That's not going to work. I think I'm going to have to let that cool down. That's not going to work. Alright, so I'm going to let this cool back down. I probably should not have heated it up, but I needed to blend it. So I'm going to let it cool down again, and then we'll try again in a minute. Okay, so I went ahead and ran an errand while I let this cool down. So we are going to try these hand pies again. The one that I messed up earlier, I went ahead and baked it, even though it was like torn off, and it actually tasted really, really good. So we're going to go ahead and make these now. And then while I'm getting those done, we will package up everything to go. So, clean this off of all this dough. And I'm wondering if, instead of pushing this down, maybe I should have just cut around it so it'd be a little bit bigger. That may have been the better answer, but now I have to find my pan. I don't know what happened to my parchment. Like that pan has completely disappeared. How did that happen? Well, this worked, so we'll just go with that. Where? Oh. Found it! Sometimes I amaze myself. Okay then. Let's do this. Oh my goodness. Now let me move y'all down. Okay. I have a feeling that's going to be too much. And we'll go ahead and put this one in here. And maybe because they're cold, that will help. Okay, so that definitely helps. Okay. So, put that in here. Put a nice big dollop. Might be too big. So these are the ones that I had rolled out. And we'll go ahead and cut those. And see, it's already oozing right there because it's not sealed. All right. All right, let's see what happens. And then depending on how the hand pies turn out, I'll add 2 of those. So this is all ready for my friend who had surgery, so she does not have to cook for a day or 2. So we'll wait to see how the hand pies turn out, and then we're done for the day. Okay. I did not realize that was still recording. But they're not beautiful. But they're not that bad. We're going to let them harden up a little bit, cool off. But that's it for today, folks. I am going to let these cool off for about 15 minutes and then try to package them up in tinfoil to take them, just the 2. And if they fall apart, then I'll just save them for the kids. But thank you for joining me on this kitchen garden extravaganza of cooking and canning and everything. And if you've made it this far, I really do appreciate you hanging out with me. It has been a blast feeling like someone was in the kitchen with me. So let me know how you like the format. I've posted another video that's kind of similar to this just because I was doing a bunch of things at one time, but not with the intention of a full long day. So if you are liking these kind of conglomerate videos, let me know, and maybe I'll move to 1 or 2 of those a week versus like the 3 to 4 times a week, every other day, every couple day mini, or not mini, but smaller subject videos. I'm just trying to kind of figure out my style, because I'm loving doing this, and I'm loving having you in my garden and in my kitchen and keeping track of everything that I'm doing, because that helps me personally to feel successful, because I can look and see what I've accomplished and what I've done, because I love looking at my shelves with all the beautiful jars and stuff. Like, it makes me go, oh wow, I've done something, you know. Like, we need to feel that accomplishment for ourselves for all of our hard work. So I really do appreciate it, and we'll see you in the next one. Thanks, guys.